I'm Dr. Pixie McKenna. As a GP, I regularly get asked, how do you get a good night's sleep? And considering we spend a third of our lives asleep, it's very, very important. And we know that those who don't sleep have much more greater chances of having long-term health complications. One of the things that's going to stop you from getting a good night's sleep is the environment in which you sleep. So if it's too bright, if it's too noisy, if your bed is uncomfortable, if your room is too hot, if it's too cold, or if it's cluttered, all of these aspects will impact your sleep. If you need to block out light, I would suggest getting blackout blinds and going so far as getting earplugs. They're particularly important if you're sleeping next to someone who might be snoring. There are lots of other things that you might do before you ever get into the bed that can interfere with your sleep. For example, if you drink a lot of tea and coffee, particularly if you're having caffeine after 6 p.m. in the evening, if you're having alcohol, or if you eat a large, spicy or heavy meal just before you go to bed. Any of these things might make for a very uncomfortable night. Not only that, but many of us are slaves to our smartphones, our work laptops, and our tablets. We're digesting social media, movies, or we're logging on to catch up with office emails. Unfortunately, the light that's emitted from these devices stops you from going to sleep quickly. So if you have any of these devices and you're using them, you should apply a rule of electronic shutdown 90 minutes before bedtime. This means there's nothing disturbing you that will activate your brain and make your brain think it's time to wake up, when actually all you really want to do is go to bed. Sleep is very much a pattern and it's quite habitual. So our bodies like to have a set routine. That means you getting up in the morning at the same time and going to bed at night at the same time, regardless of what day of the week it is, wherever possible. This is because our sleep is broken down into blocks of 90 minutes. And within 90 minutes, there are 5 different stages of sleep. The last stage of sleep is called Rem Sleep, and that's actually the piece during which you dream. So you're in a really, really deep sleep. Ideally, you want to wake up at the end of that phase. If you wake up in the middle of it, you'll actually feel really tired and you will not want to get out of bed. So you're probably going to lean over, press that snooze button and give yourself another 10 or 15 minutes. If you can look at your sleep-wake times and you can break those down into 90-minute blocks, you'll find that getting up 10 minutes earlier or going to bed 5 minutes later might actually make a crucial difference, so you avoid waking up in the deep sleep time. One last thing that's very important is tracking sleep. We know that anyone who tracks diet or exercise is likely to make behavioral modifications that will improve their habits. So by tracking it, you'll get a very good steer for how good a sleeper you are.